All right. I'm gonna read you a tweet, Arch, or a comment on that Duska sent into the chat. It was saying who's gonna be the ACC team that could make the playoff. UVA is the best bet. They have a cakewalk of a schedule and two elite quarterbacks. That's the start of it. What do we what do we think about that?
I mean, it's a good segue to the topic tonight, but I mean, the two quarterbacks he's referring to for the audience is Eli Holstein and Bo Pribula. Um, I don't know if there was ever
Elite quarterbacks.
an elite game, let alone an elite quarterback. I don't know if you allowed both of them on the field at the same time and did 12 on 11, they would still be classified as elite.
I
What a
mean,
miss.
what a miss by Henry Fish. Take him out back and take his Instagram away from him.
He needs to be shot in the head.
Okay, let's finish the tweet. They just don't have the names in some of the other powerhouse schools in the ACC have. On the flip side, Clemson should not be a serious contender, only getting style points for being a big name. That roster stinks outside of that receiving core, and assess they still do not assess any of their holes through the transfer portal, especially O-line. Well, the rest of the take could turn out to be true. UVA is the best bet. They have a cakewalk of scheduling two elite quarterbacks. Not one. Not only did I not know Eli Holstein he got benched last year for Pitt, was he not an elite quarterback, but when Missouri said thanks for all you did for Beulah, we're gonna see you outside. So whatever. But what a tweet. All right,
Horrific.
ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 39th edition of the Forward Pass podcast. We're here with another QB Tiers rankings. And since we started off with the Tribula and Eli Holstein at UVA, do you want to just hop into the Atlantic Coast Conference, Arch?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Okay, well, to give the audience, just in case they might have not caught our first QB tiers, you can go watch that on YouTube, Spotify, wherever you want. We did tiers of Big Ten and SEC. Now, the QB tiers, they're made in a way that's entertaining, and there's names of each tier, but it's really a ranking system, like kind of 1 through 16 or we go backwards to forward, so 16 to 1 on, how good preseason we think these quarterbacks rank in terms of each conference. So we're going to start ACC, and then we'll move to the Big 12. Um, and we're gonna start with the last rung, which is God help us all. And with that, Luke Duska shows up. Hey,
Fellas,
wait, Duska, we just got off the topic of the Pribula thing. What do you think about Bro Pribula and Eli Holstein being called elite quarterbacks?
I think Holstein is worse than Prbula.
Okay.
Prbula, uh, I think he deserves a lot of respect for coming back last year after snapping his leg in half against Vanderbilt. I think that's pretty gritty. Like respect to him for that. But um, as far as him being an elite quarterback, that's what do you want me to say? What has he done in his career so far to give anyone that notion that he's elite?
If he's
Who
elite, then like what would you call Julian saying? Like our Lord and Savior of college football? Like
That's what I'm
we
saying.
we
Like,
can't
how
just throw
many
the term elite around.
how many elite quarterbacks are there
There might not even be an
in
elite
college
quarterback
football? And
in the Big 12 that we do. We're doing one, and like I only have
yeah,
one elite quarterback, and like he's a fringe.
and
So,
what universe does Holstein and Prbula ever fit into that category?
well, actually, Dusker, just you should stay on for at least the bottom portion of the ACC
I
tiers list.
I will.
Okay,
I'll stay on for like 15 minutes.
okay. So in the bottom rung of the ACC tiers, we have God help us all. That's the bottom tier. The bottom of the bottom is Davis Warren.
Mm.
Michigan quarterback transfers to Stanford. I had no idea this was true until I got back here. Arch, your take on the Davis Warren experiment, and I did not know things had gotten this dire in Palo Alto, I believe.
hmm Is my audio okay?
Yep, it's
Yes.
great.
You sound
Um,
amazing.
So in my rankings, I actually had Davis Warren as the 17th best quarter. I didn't do tiers, I did rankings, and he was the 17th best out of 17 teams.
Yeah, that's how mine is.
So, what a miss to get this guy in the portal. I saw probably the worst quarterbacking of all time on Michigan's 2024 season with him versus,
Texas.
I believe the first game was against New Mexico,
Oh,
and it was, I believe it was New Mexico. It was horrific. And then you thought maybe he would get it turn around versus Texas. Nope. The Stanford has fallen. Andrew Luck, save us.
yeah. I actually like Tavita Pritchard as their new coach. He was the offensive coordinator. He was a quarterback coach for the Washington Commanders. He graduated from Stanford in 09. So they bring back a Stanford grad. It seems like they're kind of going in the right direction, but I think that um, incoming freshman Mike Mitchell Jr. is going to see snaps early in the year. Early in the year. Uh, but the fun part about Stanford is they actually have a two-headed monster of Yale receiver transfers. So they've got David Pantelis, Pittsburgh legend, and Nico Brown, slot guys from Yale. So if you're tuned into Stanford this year, it's the Yale of the West, is we're calling it. Yeah. So Davis Warren, not much to say. Pretty a tough look. I can't believe that's as explosive as they got. So no amount of QB guru in that room is going to make me believe until I see with my own eyes. So, but Davis Warren, prove us wrong. We're not here to hate. We're just here to give our opinion. All right. In the next, still in God help us all, we've
Oh
got
my gosh.
Gio Lopez. I have Gio Lopez sitting at my 16 spot.
Isn't he a lefty?
Yeah.
Oh
Archie,
yeah.
you're a little
Come
bit
on.
higher on him. I didn't love what I saw at UNC, and this is also his third school. Um, you know, give me your Gio Lopez is better than Billy Edwards take, I guess, because Billy Edwards is the guy I have in front of him, and God help us all.
Yeah, so I guess to start off, I guess minor rankings are going to be a little different than yours. I'm predicting how I think they're going to play in 2026.
Okay, I actually like this. Like a little yin and yang.
And I think predicting his fit in Wake Forest offense, which is, I don't know the style. I would describe it with Jake Dickert, the old Washington State, but it's like a run and shoot. It's RPO. There's tons of RPOs. And at UNC, they wanted him to drop back and play a pro style offense with a Belichick. And you just can't do that. I mean, we saw the graphics at the TCU game, I believe. It had been literally an hour and 45 minutes between completed passes. Like, you just. So
No bueno.
I like the fit at Wake Forest. I saw Robbie Ashford run that offense to a bowl game last year.
Bobby was good.
Yes,
Bobby
and I
was
think
better.
Lopez is a better athlete and a better thrower.
All right.
So that's just, I have him in my 11 spot personally.
Okay. Well, we'll see how yours fill out. But okay, so I have Gio in the God help us all category, right below Billy Edwards Jr., who comes by way of Wisconsin to North Carolina. Now
Sweet mother.
he at least fits the Bill Belichick pro style offense, like you said. But my goodness, that's it. That's who we got. Duska, your take?
On Billy Edwards.
Yeah.
I mean,
Are you moved?
I'm far from moved by I'm
You're a
far from
statue
moved by that yeah, I'm a statue when
by
it
that
comes
acquisition.
to this QB acquisition for UNC. I think that the Bill Belichick tenure might be a little short-lived at in Chapel Hill.
Yeah,
And it's going to be for reasons like this where you just are incapable of bringing in a guy that's going to be able to produce a lot on offense and lead them to I mean, do we lose Arch?
he'll be back.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, just seriously unmoved by that.
Yeah,
But
no.
hey, I mean, at this point, like, what do you when you're in UNC's position, like, what are you to do in this situation? Like, how would you approach the QB portal?
See, like I would have just went and got a frisky athlete. Like, okay, we're gonna talk about the Big 12 and like
Yeah,
the Big 12 quarterbacks, if like what they did, what the Big 12 did was like they went and got group of 5 guys, like Alonzo Barnett from JMU,
JMU,
who went
yeah.
to UCF, right? Or you got Michael Hawkins, the backup from Oklahoma, good to have you
Yeah.
back, Arch. But basically, like, if I were UNC, I would go and grab like a very productive group of 5 or FCS or D2 quarterback. Like, I'm so unmoved when like you just take a flailing, shitty athlete, white guy from
I was at a
X.
Power 4 school before.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Very unmoved by situations like
Yeah.
that. So
I second that. Yeah. Why not go get a guy that produced at least, and maybe at a lower
yeah,
level, but
yeah.
you're still getting a guy that
Get a
knows how to
gamer.
produce offense. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Get a
Yeah.
gamer.
Like you see what happens. I mean, Shambliss I think he's a rare circumstance, and Ole Miss lucked out because he wasn't even supposed to start for them, but
Yeah.
there's diamonds in the rough like that everywhere. I think those diamonds in the rough are more likely on an FCS or a D2 roster than they're in the backup position
Yeah.
at one of these Power 4 schools that aren't even good.
Yeah.
Wisconsin was not
Was
good
not good
last
last
year.
year. Well,
Yeah.
I have
And
one
he
thing.
couldn't he did he like he what did he do there?
No. Yeah, nothing.
Exactly.
No, he got hurt
Exactly.
and wasn't very good. But
Yeah.
I would give you an example, Duska. Like there's two old ass Bills in head football coaches in the ACC. You've got Bill O'Brien in Boston College, and you've got Bill Belichick in UNC. And I really like what Bill O'Brien did. He went and got a D2 legend, and it's like, all right, like at least it's frisky. At the end of the day, like you will give my eyeballs to a TV, and I'm like, oh wait, they're trying to like you're not gonna play the same game if you're Boston College. Like you don't have the money to spend that like Miami does. So like let's try and stop being Miami and let's try to be creative. Like let's be the Oakland Athletics. Let's not. You obviously can't spend like the Yankees. Like let's be good in the margins. You get what I'm saying?
100%.
Okay. So that's our first 3. So you had Davis Warren as your 17th arch. You had Gio Lopez as your 11th.
Mm-hmm.
Where'd
Billy
you have Billy?
Edwards, 16.
Okay. Come on. Yes, Nathan Kabambe's teammate, Mason McKenzie. Well, we're gonna screw up the podcast. Is gonna be so confused. Okay. So now we get into
that's what I put in the chat.
that's why. So now we get into,
nobody was gonna understand that
yeah,
reference.
you're right. Okay.
Famously though.
Super. Yeah. Saginaw Valley State. We're gonna get to him. Okay. So now we're in the next tier. We have ACC white guys. This is our next tier. We are filled with ACC white guys. Okay. In the last spot in this tier, Bo Pribula, Virginia.
Elite.
From so he's my 14th most like intriguing quarterback in the ACC. Arch, where was that on your list?
He was 14.
Dialed, Arch, we're dialed. Okay, sweet. You have any qualms? We already talked about Pribula. Like good athlete. We'll see.
He's decent athlete. I wouldn't even call him.
Yeah.
He's all right.
He's tough.
Tough athlete. Tough athlete. Okay.
I think he's going to benefit from at least being with a good head coach and a team that's had proven success. But outside of that, it's not inspiring.
Okay. Next, we have Christopher Vezina, Clemson. He has not played a snap. And I was between Christopher Vezina or Alberto Mendoza. Which one was going to be here for me in terms of like the second worst in this category? I went with Vezina just because I actually think Vezina could be good in like his film that it's out there. Like it's not bad. I'm just a little bit. I kind of need to see it. And these other guys, like I've seen them play make. There's decent stuff in the ACC quarterback room. So like I don't think Vezina is necessarily bad. I'm gonna have to see it. So like Arch, you might have a different ranking if you're projecting him up, but in terms of like rankings now, I kind of have him sitting right above Pribula.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I guess because I'm projecting and you're calling it as you see it now. I have him at my 8th spot.
Ooh, high on Vezina.
I think it's him, but also solely the playmakers he will have around him and the scheme.
Yep.
That's why. Also, he did play versus SMU last year, And while they lost that game at home, which is just unbelievably sad by double digits, he at least put good stuff on tape at times. I mean, I think he had over 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, so it's not bad. Also, SMU's defense last year was pretty. You could get yours on him. So, but I got him at A.
It's conceivable he's good. It's conceivable he's good. I think Vizina just kind of, because he hasn't played a lot, I think he's just going to get kind of buried in this list. Okay. Right above Vizina, I have Alberto Mendoza, which I think everybody's going to be pretty excited for him. Obviously, name brand with his brother, but Georgia Tech, like Brent Key, like it's Brett, not Brent.
No, it's Brent.
Oh, it's Brent. I was right. Okay.
Yeah.
Brent Key, they run a program down there. Haynes King, he's coming in to replace a really good Haynes King for the Yellow Jackets. Intrigued on Mendoza, but again, he's in the Vizina bucket of like, you have not played college football yet.
What situation would you rather be in if you were a quarterback with limited starting experience, no reps? Would you rather be built up in a Georgia Tech program or a Clemson program at this point? Is it crazy to say that you'd rather be at Georgia Tech right now?
I don't think it's crazy. I think you could make that argument. The only thing I'm gonna say is I think the Clemson receiving core is gonna be really tough to deal with this year. Bryant Wesco, I'm blanking on the other guy right now. I don't know why. I know Trey Brown's there.
That's not in my bag.
Who's the dude? Who's the other? It's Wesco, and he was awesome last year. Okay, whatever. Well, somebody we'll do that. We'll do that research. Hold up, really, Clemson receiver.
The only thing I'll say to that point is
TJ Moore. Yeah, TJ Moore. Yeah.
Yes, having a better receiving core is obviously an advantage, but for a team like Georgia Tech, who's just going to run gap schemes down your throat, and they're going to be able to establish the run and set you up and put you in better positions to make big plays and just be dynamic. Like, all they asked Haynes King to do is be super dynamic and make throws here and there and convert short yardage runs. And that's the type of situation as a QB, you're like, okay, I'm going to have my run game here. All I need to do is supplement this offense. We're going to be able to do the rest just by the nature of how we play. While at Clemson, you're put in a situation where it's all on you a lot. And that's where Cade Klubnik got into trouble a lot, when he's forced to be the engine and the motor, and there's no run to speak of, and he just needs to make plays. That's where you see him get in trouble despite all the talent they have at receiver. So I feel like a situation like Georgia Tech that's more ideal for a guy with less experience that you're going to have to ease into being in that big playmaking role.
The only thing about Georgia Tech, though, is they lost their offensive coordinator to Florida this year. So they brought in he was the tight ends coach, Greg Godsey, tight ends coach for Baltimore last year, the Ravens. So like a little bit unproven at coordinator. Clemson, they fired Garrett Riley, and then they bring in Chad Morris for his second stint. So like, I'm not sure.
I think Brent Key's he's like a Mario Cristobal type of guy, where you're always going to have that super physical aspect of your team, no matter who's calling the plays. Like I think play caller in college doesn't make as big of an impact as it would for like an NFL team.
Okay.
Like you're not forced to out scheme as much when you just have raw talent and you have an established identity, and you're recruiting players to do this. And you're able to just roll the ball out, and you're going to have guys that fit that scheme no matter what every year. So I think that's less of a factor in college, especially when you have a guy like Brent Key, where where you're going to get his
identity.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, Arch, where'd you have Mendoza on your list?
13.
Okay, we were pretty aligned with that. Okay. Next on the list, Walker Eggett, San Jose State transfer to Duke. Walker Eggett, I tell you, watch that film, like, dude, he's got a fat knee brace, not a very good athlete, but dude, he runs the spread really efficiently at San Jose State. And my guy Kenny Niumatalolo is out there coaching, former Navy midshipman coach. But dude, Walker Eggett's pretty good, big guy. Duke on short notice with what happened to Darius Menza, and Cooper Barkay, their two best players leaving.
Close. Darian.
Shit. Okay.
I can't wait to hear the
Chuck
SMU
Mills, the
coach.
ultimate test is coming up for Chuck Mill later.
Okay. Yeah, whatever. Darian Mensa, like whatever happened with that, Duke had to think on their feet pretty quickly. And dude, Walker Eggett for what they were in late in the cycle, being able to get this guy, I think he's gonna like play pretty well for them. Arch, what do you think?
I had him at 15 solely because I don't know what you're gonna. I like his San Jose State film was fine. I just don't know what you're gonna get from Duke this year with their athletes and scheme.
Well, you got
So
Hasty.
that's why that is true. So it's more so just the uncertainty around Duke
Yeah.
rather than Egett. I just don't think he's that. He's not a world beater. And he
No,
certainly
he's
is
not.
not going to be one in Durham.
I like, dude, I would just encourage people to watch a little bit of Egett. Like he's kind of, I don't know. I really like it. Go watch the Stanford game last year. He was, I mean, not like Stanford's a world beater by any means, but he's playing with like he has shittier talent than Stanford at San Jose State. So he played up in that game and like he was like the best football player on the field. Okay.
All right, fellas, I'm gonna pop off,
All
but
right. Duska.
it's been fun. Just wanted to jump on, give some bad takes, and yeah,
I love the
I hope you guys enjoy the rest of this pod.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
we will.
Hey,
Yeah.
Duska. Give him hell tomorrow morning.
Good night, fellas.
Night.
See you, Duska.
Bo Prabula is elite. Just remember that.
Yeah,
Just-
I am.
Just go to bed, man.
Okay. Now I'm at this is the last rung of the ACC white guys. I have Steve Angeli. I like Angeli. Because he was really good early in the year, tore his Achilles, and then during the Clemson game, after they upset Clemson. But here's the only thing about Angeli though, is I think he might get beat out by Amari Odom, the Kennesaw State transfer. So I don't know, like, and obviously Odom wouldn't fit into ACC white guys because he's not white. So I feel like they're kind of in the same tier of ACC quarterback, but for my tier list, it made sense to put Angeli here, and he's probably going to start day one. What do you think?
Yeah, I got Angeli at 12. So in that Pribula, Mendoza, Egett range.
Yeah.
Not really moved by him. Not uninspiring because he's not like a portal pickup. He's been there.
Mm-hmm.
But like if you throw him out there through the season, it's kind of uninspiring to me.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you bring in Odom that, granted, it was against CUSA, and we love the Owls on this podcast.
We do, obviously.
I think there's a higher ceiling with him.
I agree. All right, so that was I guess that was the 10th quarterback. So now we're in the top 9 here. So in this category, I had frisky footballers. Okay, frisky footballers. That's what we're calling this category. And to start off the frisky footballers, we've got Mason McKenzie, Boston College, from Saginaw Valley State. When you watch Mason McKenzie, you're watching like, wow, this guy had to have been such a problem in high school in terms of like his playmaking ability. And I think Boston College did something that I actually did not expect. This doesn't feel very Boston College like to take a swing like this. But I love Bill O'Brien zagging instead of zigging. Like Boston College seems like the type of team that would have just like brought in like fucking, Billy Edwards to play quarterback, like just took some guy who maybe didn't play very well at a big school and made a bounce back. But I like that they're giving this guy a shot who's such a good football player. Now, the Saginaw Valley team he played on was very limited in terms of like what they could do. And he tried to make too many plays, probably threw a couple too many picks, but we're going to see kind of what his bag entails. And I think Boston College is the Friday night ACC games, like I will have eyes on TVs for those games if Boston College is playing in them.
Yeah, I have him at the 10 spot on mine, so I have him right above Gio Lopez.
Yeah.
I could see him scaling all the way to like 6 if he really hits in this Bill O'Brien scheme.
Mm-hmm.
Also, one thing about Boston College that is, you mentioned the Friday night, week 2, they are hosting Michigan State on 9/11 for their red bandana game. No matter how much money you have available or whatnot, you should throw it on. You should do a little parlay of McKenzie over 1.5 touchdowns and BC money line because he's going to show out that night, and they never lose on the 9/11 red bandana game, except last year because their team was broken last year. But
the Eagles could not fly last year.
Yeah. So if you want to see this guy in action, actually his first 2 weeks are going to be good tests against Cincinnati and Michigan State. But
yeah, I
think he's got the chance to really scale if it's a hit.
I like it a lot, Arch. Okay. Next, we go to the 8th spot in the tiers. Frisky footballers. We've got Ethan Grunkmeyer coming in right here. Grunkmeyer is one thing I loved on his tape, and this is a little bit like in the weeds, but he throws in breakers really well, and he's very confident using the middle of the field. And he's kind of just like a quarterbacky-old guy, like decent athlete, good arm, but very confident in himself, like manages the troops, galvanizes the troops. I really liked what I saw from Grunkmeyer. So in Virginia Tech, I like him again with a frisky. He's a frisky footballer on a frisky team with the James Franklin led Hokies.
Yeah, I got him at 9, so I got him right above McKenzie.
Okay.
Honestly, we've been pretty spot on so far. With only thing was Vizina because that was more of a projection rather than. But yeah, I got Grunkmeyer at the 9. I could also see him scaling. I liked what he saw against. I liked what he did against the second half of the season and against Clemson.
Yep.
There's inspiring parts of his game, but he's also unproven at the same time. And I don't know how inspiring Virginia Tech is going to be weapons around him this year. So it's kind of
that's another thing.
I think it's a good fit, obviously Franklin, but I'm excited to see what they do.
Speaking of, I'm not sure how inspiring the weapons around him are going to be. Is Mason Heinschel at Pitt? So he's next on the list, right above Grunkmeyer, and yeah, I just wonder kind of they're going to be very reliant on this Western Carolina transfer, Malik Knight, to come in and be good. Which their offensive coordinator was at Western Carolina like 2 years ago, so he probably recruited the kid. But anyway, we'll see kind of. But I like Heinschel. He's such a good playmaker, and he's kind of just out there messing around off script. So I'd like to see him get better on script in timing. But they have Boosie Turner, good running back, and they're going to run the ball pretty well as Pitt. So I like what Mason has. I think 7 here is good in the frisky footballers category. What say you?
Yeah, I got him at 7 as well.
Bang. Okay. So aligned with everything.
Yeah.
Okay. This next one I think you're going to like. This guy is Ashton Daniels, Florida State. He's going to be at the 6th spot, still in the frisky footballers category. Daniels was awesome for Auburn last year in some games. He gave them juice where I did not know there was juice, and he almost saved Hugh Freeze a job. May I add? So he didn't, which is why he's no longer there. But I thought this is a good get portal wise for Florida State, and I think he's going to take care of the he's like more of the good of Tommy Castellanos with less of the bad. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I'm higher than him than consensus. But it's funny. I had him at 6 as well because you look and some people are down on him and what their pickup for Florida State. I like it, and I think that obviously a little biased because I did play with him and he's from Beaufort and all that, and he's one of my buddies. But I think there's a real opportunity for a hit here at a lower cost than. I mean, they were in the Calandria sweepstakes and all these other quarterbacks, and I imagine Daniels is getting less than them, and I think the product on the field can be even better.
Yep, he's got good size, like gamer. Did he play? Was the Bama game pretty competitive this year?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Bama won at the very end.
Yeah. He was very good in that game. All right, this is so now we're in the top 5 here. This is a category I called "How good are you?" ? And this is Lincoln Kienholz from Louisville. He is, from all accounts, he gave Sayin a run for his money last year in the quarterback. It's kind of like Kenny Minchie at Kentucky. Like Minchie gave CJ Carr a battle last year, and CJ Carr was awesome. So what does that say about Minchie? In the same way, Kienholz gave Sayin a run for his money in the Ohio State quarterback battle. So what does that say about Kienholz? He goes to Jeff Brohm, who Jeff Brohm, do you know Louisville is like second in the ACC championship odds? So like because there's such a drop off from what Miami can pay people to the rest of the ACC, like I think there's a good you can be talked into Louisville very easily because Jeff Brohm is probably coaching at a school where he shouldn't be at. He could get a lot of like higher quality jobs, but he's a Louisville alum. So pretty cool for the Cards. And they bring in a guy that hasn't started a lot of football games, but by all accounts is a really good football player. So I have him at 5 here. How good are you?
Yeah, yeah, I got him at 4.
Okay.
I was tempted to throw him at 3, but because I do like the same logic we talked about last week with the Minchie, and I know I mentioned because I had forgotten that Kienholz had transferred to Louisville,
Mhm.
but I know I said like it factors with him, and I'd forgotten that he transferred. But I mean, I'm high on him. It's a good fit with Brohm too.
Yep.
If he is anything like you mentioned, the Louisville, I guess the odds around them in the ACC. If you get a little better than Miller Moss, your team is right in there. And Miller Moss was horrible for them at times, which
Yeah, at times.
it was a miss for me because I thought he was going to be one of the best quarterbacks in the
He was
ACC
like,
last
dude, he
year.
was like, there were games I was like, oh, I'm in on him. In games, you're like, what is he doing?
Yeah. Which I guess factors kind of on brand with Louisville. They always punch up on their weight with these big games, but there's games like Cal last year where you have zero idea how they lost that game. That's just the Brohm experience.
Okay.
Interesting, in my opinion. I don't know if anyone knows who they play week 1.
Oh, I'm gonna be there. Ole Miss in Tennessee, in Nashville.
The Sunday of Labor Day weekend.
Yep.
We will be backing the Louisville Cardinals. I'll just tell you that right now.
I love it. The pod will be back in the Louisville Cardinals. I'm gonna try to be boots on the ground at that game. So just a heads up from the pod. Okay. Sweet. So Lincoln Kienholz is in the how good are you tier. Okay, next tier we get the final 4 quarterbacks. The next tier is really good starters. I know boring name, couldn't really come up with anything else. But I've got CJ Bailey, North Carolina State, in my 4 spot. Really good starters. This is gonna be his 3rd year, I believe, starting. And when you watch him, like he's such a glider of an athlete. Like it's effortless what he can do in the pocket, like the little movements, what he can do on the ground, and then he's got a great arm. So I really think CJ Bailey is one of the most underrated players in college football in terms of what NFL teams might be looking for. Like this guy is an NFL type of quarterback. So I'm in on CJ Bailey. He had a 25-9 touchdown interception ratio last year, 69% completion percentage, over 3,000 yards passing, which is really good in college football. So expecting a really big year for him and Dave Dorn and the Wolfpack that they're always good and they're getting a baseline level of competency.
Yeah, I got him at 2 on my rankings.
Ooh.
I'm expecting a really big jump for year 3. Like you said, he is such an athlete with such a high ceiling if it clicks, and you see signs of his development. I mean, 2 years ago when he was a freshman, I believe, and Grayson McCall had kind of literally died on the football field, getting hit in the head by another, and they throw him in there. Granted, they were horrible that year, but I remember they played Clemson, and Clemson beat them like a drum. But it wasn't not the offense's fault at NC State. And Bailey was a freshman in Death Valley leading their offense. And at that point, you saw that he had tools. And last year he clicked, and then like there was big games like the Tech game, like where he just exploded. And he did lose. He did lose their tight end, I believe, with Justin Jolly was his name.
And Cody Hardy.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, Cody Hardy. Shout out Elon. So I'm interested to see what other weapons emerge, but I like what I see from him, and I'm expecting to jump there.
Yep. Okay, sweet. Onto my 3 spot, and also in the really good starters tier is Kevin Jennings. Kevin Jennings, and I said the name right, and he's my guy. He's kind of an average size quarterback. You're getting like 6 foot 192 he's listed at. And he was actually better in 24 than he was in 25. Part of that is because the pitiful run game of SMU. So in SMU in 2024 rushed for 2,000, like 2,300 yards. and in 2025 they rushed for 1,700. So that's a precipitous drop off on a per game basis. And I think he's gonna have to do. And he wasn't even inefficient. He threw for 3,600 yards, which is unbelievable. Like that's so many yards. Like he rips the ball around the field. He's actually like he's less of an athlete than you think he is. Like he's a good athlete and he's twitchy within the pocket, but he's not really looking to run. He's looking to create time and chuck the ball down the field. So I think he had too many picks last year, too many turnover worthy plays, but I think they asked him to do too much in terms of just not being able to run the football effectively. And SMU was still really good, and he was a huge reason for it. So I'm a Jennings guy. I really like Rhett Lashley, and I think he's at 3 is a solid spot for him.
Yeah, I got him at 3. The more I think about it, the more I don't like that. Granted, for the other 3 guys that are left, because I do think there's going to be a drop off in his production this year, simply because SMU lost all their weapons at receiver and tight end. But I'm a believer in their system. I do like. I mean, you mentioned a lot of turnover worthy plays last year, but that comes when your offense is sort of broken in the run game. Where you try and force it. So, but he's at my 3 spot. I could anywhere from 3 to 5 would be an all right ranking for me.
Okay. Now we're going to our next tier. This is called NFL first rounders because I believe both these guys are NFL first rounders, and I don't think it's that far of a stretch. But at 2 is Jared Kielwe Sagapulatelli. This is my freaking guy. He's massive, lefty. I couldn't be more a fan of JKS. He's also a lefty Polynesian, so I kind of have a fetish for those type of guys. So like there is some bias here. I really like this guy, but I just love what I saw freshman year, what he could do. He also stayed at Cal, like which is crazy. Pretty cool for them to retain him, even as they go through a staff change with Taj Lupoy coming in. But I kind of did a little bit of a deep dive on Cal and what I saw from him in some of the throws he made and his coverage recognition. It was it's pretty awesome. But one of the things I think he could help himself with is stepping into throws more and not drifting. He kind of had a problem with like drifting away from throws, which some freshmen do. So I'm looking for a couple of things. He's going to be a sophomore in terms of like, because I think this is an NFL first rounder. So I'm just looking at it in terms of like what are NFL teams going to see and like how's he going to project to the league. But he's awesome for Cal. And this is going to be, if he gets drafted, it'll be their 3rd first round quarterback of the 2000s because Rodgers, Goff, JKS would be the 3rd wheel. Now they do lose Jacob De Jesus. I think he's on the Chiefs now, and then Tron Grizel. They're 2 best receivers last year who were really good. So he's kind of got his work cut out for him. But I like Taj Lupoy and I like JKS. I love the lefty. I love his ball. And yeah, they grabbed a Chase Hendricks. He's an Ohio receiver, 1,000-yard receiver. So they did. It's not like they didn't try to backfill a receiver.
Yeah, I got him at the 5 spot solely because I feel like what they lost weapons wise and their coach that they hired. It's a projection thing. I thought at times there was some turnover worthy plays that he would create, but also he's a true freshman. He has the touch and the kind of I don't know if it factors in the right word, but you could see he's comfortable in these situations. I mean, his first ever game he started as a freshman against Oregon State, and he tore them up. So I got him at the 5 spot, but like I said, 3 to 5, like him and Jennings are going to be pretty comparable this year.
All right, and then to finish it off, it's Darian Mensah, number 1. He's probably going to be a first rounder this year. He's probably the highest paid quarterback in college football, or one of the 4 highest paid quarterbacks in college football. Miami's going to be a freaking juggernaut. They just reloaded. Probably not much we need to do on that. Are you aligned with him at 1?
Yes.
Okay. Well, guys, that leads us to the Big 12. You ready for the Big 12?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's rip through these. In the can we get Sorsby back category to start us off? JC French, Cincinnati. I was originally like, who is this guy? And I was like, oh, Georgia Southern must have been really good last year. Nope. 4-4 in conference, 7-6. Why were they not better if CJ French is or JC French is good? Where are you lined up on this?
I have him at 15.
Out of 16?
Yeah, I got to see him a lot at Southern. I watched him a lot.
Yeah.
He's from my area. His turnover worthy play ratio is he's always putting the ball in harm's way.
Yeah.
Multiple games last year at Southern where he would have at least 2 interceptions or fumbling was a huge problem with him as well.
Really?
He's got really good accuracy and a really good arm.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think he has it between the ears. So that's why he's at 15 for me.
Yeah. So he's at 16 for me, 15 for you. So yeah, that's it. Can we get Sorsby back category? And I'm not talking about Texas Tech. I'm talking about Cincinnati. All right. Next, we've got good story, average arm. This is Chase Jenkins, transfer from Rice to Kansas. He's going to Kansas. Is that how you had your starter for Kansas or no?
Kansas is like I said, they're the they have this like a battle. No matter who their guy is, I put him at 16. It's Marshall was the guy that he's a good athlete. He runs well, but
that's how. So this guy Chase Jenkins, he was at Rice. He came in as a quarterback. Then he got switched to receiver.
Yes,
then he got switched back to quarterback. And he's a really good story, good kid, good athlete. I mean, they're going to use him in the like for what dude, Kansas is like an option heavy team. Like he'll probably be decent for them. Like, but average, really average arm. So he sits at 15 if you're cool with that.
Yeah, no complaints.
Next, there's a couple more. We have more tiers. There's not as many clumps in the Big 12. I've tiered it a little more. But so can we get Sorsby back? Good story, average arm. Now we get there's 2 people in this next tier. It's underwhelming, but I can be talked into it. Michael Hawkins, WVU from Oklahoma. I liked what he like. I watched a lot of Michael Hawkins because I watched the Navy Oklahoma bowl game in 2024, and like there's things Hawkins does well. And I think his like best stuff is from 2024. Obviously 2025 he didn't play very much. So Rich Rod, like, let me see. I haven't seen enough to where I could put him ahead of some of the other guys in front of him who have played more college football snaps.
Yeah, I got him at 14, pretty aligned there. Good athlete. I'm excited to see what he does in the Rich Rod offense. Like they're very athlete driven at quarterback. You kind of the style at Jacksonville State, he had a lot of success with these mobile quarterbacks, and Hawkins is a great athlete. Don't know how it'll fare in the Big 12. Running that style hasn't had too much success last year, but yes, he's at 14 for me.
Yeah, so I think he's also in a battle with Fox. What's that guy's name?
Scotty Fox.
Scotty Fox.
I mean, if you can't win that, the thing is like with these battles, if Hawkins can't beat Fox out, then we're still fine at the ranking because they're pretty comparable.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, Scotty Fox would also be underwhelming, can be talked into it. Okay. The next one, also a quarterback battle. I'm not too familiar with the other guys in it, but Cutter Boley at Arizona State from Kentucky. I'm repping my Kentucky. My brother goes there, so shout out Jack Mill. But Cutter Boley, dude, he's just like not that good of an athlete. Like he's like a really poor athlete with like not also his arm doesn't make up for it. So he's got to be like become a way better processor of the game, in my opinion, because he's not a good athlete. His arm is like good, but not great. And he looked lost in a lot of SEC games last year, but he was a freshman. So I understand. Arizona State, I would have liked them to see maybe something different. I know Leavitt left him in a tough position going to LSU, but I would have liked to see them kind of get a more dynamic guy. I'm not sure what the checkbook was looking like and if Cutter Boley was kind of like balling on a budget, but we shall see what he's in for. Where do you have Cutter Boley in yours?
So I originally had him at 12, but thinking about who I have at 13, I'm moving him to 13.
Okay. So we're aligned on that as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Next, this is the next cliff, next tier. We've got I like, but there's a clear ceiling. Starting off is Jalen Rayner, Iowa State, from Arkansas State. Jalen Rayner and his stuff, like, he's like pretty good. Like I was at first, I wasn't too high on him. Like when I first saw the name, because I wasn't that familiar with Arkansas State. I knew like he played there last year, but then I watched some of their games. They played good competition. Like he was solid. He ran the dude, commanded the ship, a plus athlete, average arm. But Jimmy Rogers is the new coach at Iowa State, and he was at Washington State, and then he was at South Dakota State, and won national championships there. So I think this is a guy that can squeeze the proverbial juice out of Jalen Rayner. Where'd you have Rayner?
I had him at 11.
Okay, so you were one spot ahead of me.
Yeah, he's kind of I don't know. Iowa State fans are very familiar with him because Arkansas State almost upset them in
Dude, he was really good against Iowa State. Yeah, no. It was at Arkansas State. I watched the game back today.
That's right.
It was at Arkansas State. It was
That's
pretty
right.
funny.
They did the home and home bizarre thing.
Yeah, where is Arkansas State?
Jonesboro, Arkansas.
Jonesboro. All right. So the game was in Jonesboro.
I believe it's the northern part of Arkansas.
Okay.
Yeah, I got him at 11. He could be good. He's a good athlete.
Yeah, good athlete. Good athlete. First, yeah, I like it, but clear ceiling.
Yeah.
I think he fit that. This also describes the next guy. I think Alonzo Barnett, UCF. I have him but clear ceiling. Are you a little higher on Barnett than I am?
I have him at 10.
So okay, I have him at 11. Okay.
So really not that different.
I just like he's good. He's a little undersized, and he's not like great at anything. He's like a plus athlete, plus arm, plus brain and processing, but he's not a world beater. But I think he's a good quarterback.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how he fares in the Big 12.
Scott Frost.
Yeah, it was different, obviously, because he was coming back from injury, but the Louisville game was putrid tape from him.
Yeah, well, also,
and that was such an odd.
I don't even hold that against him because, like, what were we saying about JMU? If Alonzo Barnett had started the whole game, they win. But they kept dicking around with Sluka in the game. So the Sluka Barnett early in the year from Bobby Chesney, like, I was so out on.
Oh, yeah, I was deeply unserious by Chesney.
Because they could have been an undefeated team going into the playoff because they should have won the Louisville game, but, like, they were deeply unserious.
I'll never forget having JMU as a super dog that week and losing it, even losing the cover on the thing at the end of the game.
Yeah, no,
and they were winning for literally 55% or 95% of that game. So but he's at 10. Interested to see how he does at UCF.
Yeah. Okay, that's like an intriguing. Like, all right, what's this gonna look like? What's this gonna look like? Okay, now we go into our next tier. So we're in the top 10 now, or my top 10. We've got how good is your quarterback development process? So I'm asking these schools, how good is your quarterback developing process? To start us off, we have Julian Lewis at Colorado. So he's in my 10 spot. Lewis is like, he came out of a prestigious football high school in Carrollton, Georgia. And his like high school tape is unbelievable. 5-star, the best get that Prime has ever gotten, besides maybe Seton, the O-lineman that already left. But what's he at? Oregon?
LSU.
Oh, LSU. Yeah, my bad. Yeah. So Julian Lewis, he's frisky. What is Colorado like? Are they going to be able to protect him?
Yeah, I don't know. I have him at 12.
Okay.
Kind of a line. They got Danny Scudero, who is San Jose State.
Oh, I love Scudero. When I was watching the Walker Egan stuff, Scudero's all over that. Scudero.
But, like, that is a thing, but, like,
is Scudero that moving? Yeah.
Colorado's broken. Like,
I don't even think it's like, I always just think Colorado was so bad when Prime took the program over, like so bad. And like I think they'll be better this year. Like they're like always competitive. I think Colorado's always just too skinny. They just never have enough beef on the field against in a grueling college football season of 12 games, and you just like got to just keep punching people in the mouth and getting punched in the mouth. Like they're just if the Big 12 fighters are 195 pounds, they're like 186 pounds, and it just puts them at odds a lot. So we'll see what Lewis is up to. Okay, my 9 spot is DJ Lagway, Baylor. I love Lagway. I love him. So like if this was like me making my who I would take in a draft, like who I would start my program with, like DJ Lagway would be in my top 5. But we're talking about like what he has done, which is not much in college football, and had a really poor year. But I like him going to Baylor. We'll see what Dave Aranda and the fellas have. DJ Lagway is going to have complete and utter autonomy in this offense to be whatever he would like to be. So I'm really excited for DJ Lagway. He has played less effective football than the guys ahead of him, which is why I'm putting him at 9. Although I love DJ Lagway, and I will ride for him all year. And I rode for him while he was playing poorly for Florida.
Yeah, I think this is where the split between predicting versus what are at the moment, kind of like the Vizina at Clemson. I have him at 3.
Love it.
Super high on him with the Baylor offense. Sawyer Robertson, much less gifted physically, and he tore it up.
Yeah.
What makes you say Lagway can't do the same? He seems like he's got his head on his shoulders now.
He does. Yeah.
He's a little more locked in.
Yeah.
Florida was broken.
Billy Napier is not yet.
Yeah.
But
so I'm excited. I think he'll be the 3rd best quarterback in the Big 12 this year.
I love it. I think he's the 3rd best thrower of the football. Top 4 in the conference. Like guys like Wigman, Dampier, Bachmeier, like they can't hold a candle to what he can do with his right arm, But they in terms of like what they are now, snapshot in the Big 10, 12, like they have earned their spot with like proven production. But I love that you're high on Lagway because I am too. Okay. This is my next guy. I'm like not that high on him, but because he has like so much production and he might break the school's record for all-time passing yards, like I guess I have to put him this high. It's Avery Johnson, Kansas State. He's not moving to me, and he's like a really good athlete, but he's like a better athlete than like Dampier and Bachmeier, but like he's less effective than them. I don't know where you're going with this.
Yeah, I can't believe I'm saying this because like I have carried water for him stinking the last
yeah, you
3 years. I have him at number 2.
Oh my gosh. Shut up.
I think the Colin Klein merger with the OC, I'm blanking on, let me look at his name really quick.
It's just we can call it the Colin Klein offense though.
Sean Gleason.
Okay.
It's important because he was the old quarterbacks coach at Missouri, and he's been at a few other stops. He was at Oklahoma State a few years ago with Spencer Sanders when they had their run with Gundy, and he was at a few FCS schools. He is really good with mobile quarterbacks.
Yes.
And like I said, I've literally hated Avery Johnson.
Yeah, you have been the water carrier for the Avery Johnson hate speech.
Yeah, my Big 12 rankings are kind of all over the place, but I have him at 2.
Oh my gosh.
Predicting.
Yeah. Okay.
But I have him at 2.
I feel like he's fair because it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So he's at my 8 spot, and he's at the very top of that. How good is your QB development process? I think that's why he fits into this tier because it's like Lagway and Julian Lewis. Like, what are they doing? What are we doing to QB development? And like Colin Klein, like, can we get Avery Johnson right? Because we've talked about Avery Johnson as a college football community for years. And like, it has just never materialized the way we would have hoped for it to materialize. Like, dude, he's on pace to probably break the school record if he has like a good year passing and not a great passer of the football. So, but like dynamic athlete. So we will see what Avery Johnson is up to.
Yeah, last thing. I mean, he has been, like you said, he's been a dark horse Heisman candidate for like 3 years.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to bet him again. All I'm gonna say.
Okay.
Leave your tickets open.
Pizza
money on him.
Yeah, I said in my write-up for Johnson, like the one thing that intrigued me is Colin Klein coming back home to provide a little spark for the program. And I also added, I foresee so much quarterback power read in year 3 of the Johnson experiment. So,
Yeah. I mean, we even talked last year. They didn't run him enough. Even in
no,
the Iowa State game, did
no.
not run him
Why
enough.
it's pouring down rain in Ireland. Can we get the best athlete on the field just running
Yeah.
QB pow all day? Colin Klein would have had him do that. Um, okay. Now we enter the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The 7 spot. This is called good quarterbacks, but unproven in the Big 12. This is where Jaden Craig of TCU falls for me. He's a transfer from Harvard. Um, in 2024, uh, Jaden Craig and Cooper Barkate in the Ivy League was feeding mouths. Whoever the head coach of Harvard they were feeding families out there together. Um, Craig's a really interesting quarterback prospect, and he's like legitimately like 6'2", 215, high level quarterback process out of the FCS. Like he's got, I mean, not like he's not as good as Cam Ward, but he's got like gamer Cam Ward, like FCS to FBS, like shitty Walmart Cam Ward type of stuff to him. So I'm in on Jaden Craig. I'd like to see, obviously I can't project him higher than some of the guys on this list because like this is a snapshot in time, but I really like what Jaden Craig has to with TCU, and Hoover's been really good. Anybody Sonny Dykes has worked with has been pretty good. I guess maybe Chandler Morris wasn't great, but
Yeah, I got him at 8
okay.
on my rankings. Intrigued by him. I think he's a guy like McKenzie from BC that you could, if you hit on him, he could scale to 5 or
Yep.
in that range.
Yeah.
I think his ceiling is better than Hoover's ceiling just because he's more dynamic of a runner.
hmm
But also unproven, also projecting that I think he's higher than a Big 12 starter that you obviously have higher than him.
Yeah. Okay. So the next run of good quarterbacks but unproven in the Big 12 is Will Hammond, Texas Tech. I for one love Will Hammond, but he only played a couple of games for Texas Tech last year before tearing his ACL. He's got good size. He rips the football around. And not only does he have a very whippy arm, he's got some juice with his legs. Now I know he's coming off an ACL injury, so we'll see what that juice looks like. But in the Utah game, he was very dynamic for Texas Tech. I was carrying a lot for him that he should have been playing over Baron Morton until obviously he got hurt. And I think they might have actually gone to him had he not gotten hurt, because Baron Morton was super average. I think Hammond is a much higher ceiling. I actually liked him as a prospect more than I did Sorsby and as a college football quarterback. So I think the Texas Tech fans, like, I'm going to do my best to try to convince them that all the Sorsby saga is not the end of the world and that your better quarterback's going to be playing this year.
Yeah, I got him at 5.
Okay.
Like what he did at spots last year. Like what he did in the bowl game in 2024. They played Arkansas in the Liberty Bowl, and Morton was gotten his like 18th end of year surgery on his shoulders, and they started Hammond as a freshman. He lit it up. Good arm. And I don't like you said. I didn't think Sorsby was that great, so I don't know if this is a drop off at all. So I got him at 5.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. All right. Now we've got the next batch of quarterbacks. This is called Gamers on the Ground. You like that one? Gamers on the Ground. About to be a lot of running backs in this segment. All right. At 5, Connor Wigman. Arch, on the top of your head, do you know how many games Houston won last year?
8.
10. The Houston Cougars were a 10-3 football team with a win over LSU in their bowl game. Willie Fritz and the guys were kind of good. Wigman returns. He's an upper tier starter in the Big 12, and I dare I say he's underrated, Connor Wigman. He had
Yeah,
20.
I would. Yeah, no,
No.
I can't get behind that. But
He had 2,700 passing yards. He had 700 rushing yards, and he had 40 total touchdowns, 29 throwing, 11 rushing. He was ultra productive for Houston last year, a 10-win Houston team. Is that flying? Okay, if you don't agree he's underrated, is he at least flying under the college football radar in terms of what he did last year? And is Houston as a roster, most people don't know they were a double-digit win team last year.
Yeah, I mean, I like Houston this year. It's an underrated pickup for them. They got Mekhi Hughes, the Tulane, and then Oregon running back to reunite with Fritz. So I think Houston as a whole is underrated in the national scale. Wegman, I'm not sure. I think, in my opinion, he's lucky that he's not lower on my list. I was never moved by him.
Mm-hmm.
He's at my 9 spot, so he's one
Ooh.
spot behind Craig. And that's simply because I couldn't put him lower than like Cutter Boley and like that. He's uninspired. He plays uninspiring football to me.
Dude, he's tough as dude. All right. This year we're gonna watch a Houston game together and we'll be texting back and forth. And I hope I hope you soften your but you might be right. But I think we just hold.
I think I'm just a little biased from his Texas A&M days.
You gotta flush it. You gotta flush that.
He was genuinely
I had to flush that because I saw him in person against South Carolina at home. South Carolina was home, and he was not very good in that football game. You know, he wasn't. But I flushed it, and he was really good at Houston. So I'm gonna be okay with that. Okay. We're in the top 4 now. Gamers on the ground. Devon Dampier or Devin Dampier. However you would like to say it. I don't know if it's a little French. The last name's French. I'm not sure if the first name is. Really solid quarterback last year. But I think the head-to-head loss against BYU is what keeps him from being higher on this list, just in terms of the game's got to matter. New coaching staff, though. So Jason Beck and Whittingham, Utah, leave for Michigan. Head coach Morgan Scalley, the defensive coordinator at Utah last year, brings in Utah State offensive coordinator Kevin McKibben. So I thought Jason Beck, the offensive coordinator last year, did a really good job molding the offense around Dampier's strengths. We'll see what McKibben does. Dampier was scorching hot by the end of the year. As he started getting healthier, against who they play in the bowl game, the Las Vegas Bowl. They shit on somebody. Oh, Nebraska. Exactly, Nebraska. He finished with 300 plus passing yards, 140 plus rushing yards, and 5 total touchdowns to end 2025 as he was kind of hitting his stride health-wise. So if he could stay healthy this year, big things for Dampier, and we'll see what the Utes are like. I'm sure they're going to play good defense. So what do you have him at?
Number 1.
No!
Mm-hmm.
Woo! Kid is
if they had Beck back at OC, it would have been a no-brainer. I had to think
ringing
about
the bell.
this,
you would ring the bell for the Heisman ticket if Beck was back.
Mm-hmm. But I had to be reasonable here. All I'm going to say is I was a huge Dampier guy last year. We called him on this busting onto the scene from New Mexico to Utah. The reason why I think he's going to be the best quarterback, he's a great athlete. You were saying he was really hitting his stride towards the end of the season.
Yes. Yep. Dealt with injury early, like it was rocky early.
But one thing that I think is important is, and at least in my opinion, I think if he transferred to Michigan with Beck and Whittingham, all I'm going to say is he's good enough there would be a legitimate battle with Underwood right now, in my opinion.
I probably would have. I mean, if I just had a blank resume and like there was no name or 5 stars attached, you just gave me these 2 players and they came in T-shirts, like I probably would have played Dampier.
So, yes, that's why I got it. I mean, I got him at 1. It's probably off my rocker and it's not going to come to fruition, but there's just not a lot of other guys in the Big 12 that there's no like set number 1. That's why I think I was comfortable just throwing him at 1 and forgetting about it.
I can agree with that. I think for me, there's one guy that's number 1, and then there's a bunch between 2 and 4. We'll get to that. Okay. Gamers on the ground, top spot for number 3. We got Bear Bachmeier. Okay. The poise and moxie he showed last year for, what were they, 11 or 12 win BYU? Very impressive. They capped off a great 2025 season with a win over Georgia Tech in the Pop-Tart Bowl, which is a very respected bowl. Pop-Tart Bowl means something in my house. Um, However, like Bachmar is a very similar quarterback to Dampier in terms of like limited throwing the football, but very good runner. He is my comparison, my Bear Bachmar comparison is like if you're watching Remember the Titans and like just a really good state championship winning high school quarterback from the 80s, just like tough as nails, wears number 47, can make the throws, but like he's not really out there trying to like hit like the whole shot and cover two. Like he's out there gaming and like you have like, you know, you're gonna have to stop his legs before you stop anything else. So I like Bear Bachmeier. He was also a freshman last year, so tough that Stanford couldn't keep him around for their fall ball because transferred to BYU and the rest is history. Where do you have Bear?
I have him at 7.
Ooh, low on Bear, but like, dude,
I just
he
genuinely cannot
beat
stand
Dampier
it.
last year.
Yes, but I genuinely cannot stand watching him and BYU play like offensive football in like games versus quality defense. Like he's simply he is simply being judged in my eyes because I had to watch him twice versus versus Texas Tech, and it's not his fault. Their
Yeah,
team
it's
was just
not.
not that good, but
No.
it was miserable football. And I don't know. I don't think he's. I think if you're just like talking about pure quarterbacks, like the 6 guys I have ahead of him, I could sleep at night knowing that I had one of those 6 guys over him.
Yeah, but he's a gamer, and like what
He
BYU
is a
does,
gamer. He is a
what
gamer.
BYU.
I genuinely just can't stand him. Like I just can't stand watching them play football.
Dude, that's fair. That's super fair. He also Parker Kingston. Well, Parker Kingston's not playing this year. Do you know why? Like,
Yes.
yeah, really bad
Yes.
rape case going
I
on. So
believe
I
it
don't.
got dropped, but he's still not going to be able to play for BYU.
No, they have to refile because they couldn't show up to the right court date, like the people filing it. So it's gonna get refiled. It's like not over yet. It's gonna be a really long process, which sucks because like it's just gonna be another year of like up in the air. Like who knows? Like you can't really make like judgments on this type of stuff until because it's very serious allegation. So it's like either like you don't want to be rushed to any judgment. Okay,
Yeah.
but
We'll
like
be seeing for him, though. He won't be playing football
he
again.
will not be playing football for the BYU Mormons or whatever what's their actual mascot? It's Cougars. Um, yeah, and then also like number 2, that guy I think graduated, Chase.
Chase Roberts.
Yeah, Roberts graduated, so gonna be tough to replace that. But dude, you know what BYU always does? They're a physical football bunch, and like, dude, they're gonna run QB power down your throat. And Bear Bachmeier's gonna piss you off because he gets like 7 yards a clip, and then they just like get a couple fluky turnovers, and now they get.
And then they win 3-2.
Yeah. You know how they do it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now we've got the top 2 guys left for me, and it's the true Big 12 gunslingers. So like the Big 12 is known for like the gunslinger mentality. Um, you got Baker Mayfield, Mahomes, Nick Foles. I guess he wasn't in the Big 12, he was in the Pac-12, but Arizona's now in the Big 12. You know what I mean though. Sawyer Robertson last year, Hoover, just the guys slinging the rock around.
Mm-hmm.
Drew Mestemaker comes in at number 2 for me. He's transferred from North Texas to Oklahoma State. Eric Morse brought over the whole Mean Green machine and just painted it orange and black. Mestemaker, freshman last year, playing his first football because in high school, somehow remarkably, he did not start at quarterback, which is unbelievable. But I like what I see from him. Couple things nitpicking. The ball in his carriage is very low, like when he carries the football, which get the ball a little higher, improve accuracy, or so we don't have to move the ball as far up to our throwing arm. And then also the ball he throws like a little bit janky, not always a very tight spiral, which works if you're like Peyton Manning. Like you don't have to throw a beautiful spiral, but like you better be damn accurate. So looking for those improvements from him. But other than that, like he was really good at North Texas, led all of FBS in passing last year. So um, just torched the American, which is a good conference. And North Texas was probably a lot better than Oklahoma State was last year. So I'm not worried about really him stepping into this role. Where'd you have Messmaker?
I have him at 6.
Oh, really?
To me, it's more of a translation to the Big 12. Eric Morris obviously came over. Hawkins, their running back.
Yep.
I mean, they're basically just
Wyatt Young, dude. Guy's nasty.
They basically are just the Oklahoma State Mean Green this year.
Yep.
And I carried water for this take last year. I didn't think he was. I didn't think he was that good because I thought that he forced a lot of he created a lot of turnovers, and I was proven right in their USF game where he'd thrown a few interceptions, had a strip sack, and personally to me, I think those things stay with you, your turnover worthy plays and whatnot, and that's why I have him at 6. I mean, good thrower of the football, and also in his biggest two toughest defenses he played last year, which were Tulane and USF, in my opinion. He looked deer in headlights at times, struggled, and I'm not saying the Big 12 has these mighty defenses, but they're going to have better than the USF Bulls were throwing out
the Navy
there.
midshipman.
Yeah, so I don't he's at 6. He's a guy if he hits and he, Morse develops him more, he could be easily 1 or 2.
He's like he's like an NFL, he's got NFL potential.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what I'm saying? He could be a really high NFL draft pick if developed correctly. So to me, maybe it's more of a projection, but I think if you lead the FBS in passing, at a good group of 5 school, I'm gonna give you the nod that you're a pretty good quarterback. And if you I could be proven wrong that he comes into the Big 12 and gets slaughtered by the Utah defense, but I'm not betting that. I also love Wyatt Young and Michael Hawkins. Or not, what's his
Caleb Hawkins.
Yeah, dude. Nasty trio for Oklahoma State. All right, this brings me to my number 1 quarterback. The top of the true Big 12 gunslingers. This is Noah Fafita, Arizona. This is going to be his 4th year starting at Arizona. And from 2024 to 2025, he made a huge leap in terms of decision making, not making as many turnover worthy plays. He was actually really good in 2023 with Jed Fish. 2024, Jed Fish left, went to Washington. Transition year for Arizona, very Tech McMillan reliant that year. And then last year, he really found his stride. The thing I love most about Noah Fafita is he's just tiny guy. He's 5'10", 186, which means he might not even be that if that's what ESPN has him listed at. But his feet and eyes are always tied together. So why this is important? Because if you're not that big and your arm talent's not that great, you have to be on time and accurate, and your feet and eyes being in rhythm can help prevent errant throws and bad decisions, which he cut back on a lot. He's probably going to break Nick Foles' passing record at Arizona. And although his size is a limiting factor in the NFL, college football quarterback play, this guy's nails. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the Big 12, maybe in the country. He's the most proven quarterback in the Big 12 so far. And I expect huge things from Fafita. Maybe Arizona might not be a 10-win team, but it won't be because he's not good enough.
Yeah, I got him at 4, but it's not because of who I think he's worse than. I just think Dan Pierre Johnson and Lagway are poised for big seasons. I really like him. You mentioned 2023 with Jed Fish, awesome. 24 was pretty horrible. He had a lot of turnover-worthy plays. And even if it wasn't a turnover-worthy play, they had horrible luck at Arizona that year with Brent Brennan's year 1. And I'm excited to see him this year because I think last year Arizona was one of the best unknown teams. They were kind of like Houston this year to me, where they're got a lot of talent. They got a lot of guys. And you honestly talk about Arizona as Fafita being number 1. If breaks like BYU last year, they were beating them, and then BYU had a fluke fumble on the 4th down. They got stopped on, recovered it, and then ended up scoring a touchdown and winning the game. Stuff like that, Arizona wins that game. There's different narratives around Fafita, and he's talked about a top 10 quarterback in America, in my opinion. And it is kind of ironic because I do have him at 4 here, but I really like him. He's a gamer. He's also just a fun quarterback to watch.
Dude, awesome college quarterback. Awesome. Athletic enough to really make shit happen, but he's trying to throw the football, which I can always appreciate. as an avid college football ball watcher. All of us are. All right, Arch. We just got through the Big 12 and the ACC. Do you want to run down one last time our lists?
Yeah.
All right, let's go. We'll just keep it in the Big 12. All right. 16, you had.
Marshall from anybody from Kansas, truly.
Okay. I had JC French. 15, you had.
French.
I had Chase Jenkins. 14, you had.
Hawkins.
I also had Hawkins. 13,
Boley.
I also had Boley. 12,
Julian Lewis.
I had Jalen Rayner. 11,
I had Rayner.
I had Barnett, Alonzo Barnett, UCF. Lewis, 9, or
10.
10.
Barnett.
I had Lewis. 9,
Wegman.
I had Lagway. 8,
Craig.
I had Avery Johnson. But I think it makes sense for that. How good is your quarterback development process? All right. 7,
Bachmeyer.
I had Jaden Craig. 6,
Mestemaker.
I got Will Hammond. 5,
Hammond.
I got Wegman. 4,
Fafita.
I got Devon Dampier. 3,
Lagway.
I got Bear Bachmeyer. 2, you have Johnson.
Can't believe it, yes.
I have Drew Mestemaker. And then 1, I have Fafita.
Dampier.
And you have Dampier.
Mhm.
All right. I like those. So for me, it was like, can we get Sorsby back? Good story, average arm, underwhelming, but can be talked into it. I like it, but clear ceiling. How good is your quarterback development process? Good quarterbacks, unproven in Big 12. Gamers on the ground, and then Big 12 gunslingers. All right, let's run through the ACC and get out of here. At 17, you had.
What's this? Davis Warren.
Yep. At 16.
Billy Edwards.
At 15.
Walker Eget.
Okay, I went Warren Lopez Edwards. At 14.
I had Pribula.
I also. 13.
Mendoza.
I also. This is where so 12, I had Vizina. You
I had Angeli.
11, I had Eget. You had
Lopez.
10, I had Angeli. You had
McKenzie.
I had McKenzie at 9.
I had Grunkmeyer at 9.
I had Grunkmeyer at 8. Who'd you have at 8?
Vizina.
Yep. Heinschel, both at 7.
7. Daniels
Ashton,
at 6.
Yep.
Mhm.
I'd Kienholz at 5. You had him at 4.
Yeah, and I had JKS at 5.
Yep. Okay. CJ Bailey, I had at 4. You had Kienholz. Kevin Jennings, I had at 3.
I had him at 3 as well.
JKS, you had 5. Who was your 2?
Bailey.
Yep. And then both men's at 1.
Mhm.
Caleb Archer, thank you for being the liaison of the quarterback tiers.
Mhm.
We will be back very soon.
Very soon with conference previews. We're starting out hot. Expected in 2 weeks or so. We'll probably put that in the first episode because we want to wait a little bit to fall camp because in NCAA, you have literally no idea what's going to happen with these teams. Going to wait as far as possible and then hit some playoff previews, maybe even some win totals and sleepers. Oh, and that's other than our conference previews. We're going to do a few fun segments on some teams we're higher on than consensus, lower on, and then teams that are just right. Where do you think they're going to be?
Buy, sell, hold.
Mm-hmm.
Like a finance segment.
Yeah.
But college football.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Arch. It was a pleasure.
It was an absolute pleasure.